Welcome back to the Fourth and Long podcast where your championship advice comes at no price. Today is Friday, September 9th. I'm here with my co-host Paul Collins. My name's Nathan Young, and we actually recorded this before the Bills game, so we apologize. We're not going to give analysis of that till next week. But Paul, how did the game go?
It was crazy. Josh Allen, threw three interceptions in the first quarter. Insane.
I don't know about that one, man. I think I think you watched the wrong game because I'm pretty sure Josh Allen threw for 5 touchdowns and broke the
Dang.
NFL record with 4 more rushing touchdowns added on to that, all to Dawson Knox actually. So
Damn. That ding ding.
yeah, it was
Man.
working. But yeah, so I excited. That was an exciting game, and we're looking forward to this Sunday for sure. But moving on from that, we're gonna go into the news going into the weekend. Get you caught up for your league, so you know who to watch out for. If you have them in your lineups, you might need to take them out, things of that nature. So, Paul, you want to start us off with the first news report you heard from this going
Y-
into this weekend?
Yeah, so this ties into actually just the Arizona Cardinals in general. Both these players, one of them more so a starter, but Zach Ertz is questionable going into the week. So that's definitely something you want to monitor come Friday, Saturday morning, or Sunday morning, I should say. You may want to look on the waiver wire, and then we do have a couple guys later in the episode who we might be able to recommend if he's still in your waiver wire, which both guys will be. And then this news report just breaks my heart. I had no plans in starting him, but this is just long season terms. Rondell Moore has injured his hamstring, and he's very unlikely to play. He's going to undergo an MRI to see the severity. But this is just heartbreaking for me, just because of last or yesterday's episode. I had him as a bold prediction of being a top 20 receiver, and if he misses any time throughout the season, this is definitely going to hamper that bold prediction for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see your guys that you're predicting go out get hurt week one, but hopefully it's not serious and we can see in week two. That's your only hope there, you know. So
I
hope,
just hamstring injuries linger, man, and I hate it. We've seen it with Julio every week.
yeah.
The guy didn't practice, and he just plays, but he's not 100%.
And speaking of hamstring injuries, Michael Thomas was also limited. He was limited in practice Thursday, but I think we expect him to play. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
be too worried about that. It's kind of been a hamstring. It's been lingering for a while now, but I think it's just precaution. So I think he should be
if you
back.
ha- if you have Michael Thomas, are you looking to bench him? Like, what is the likelihood that he goes out there on a pitch count this week? I
Yeah,
feel like
I
it's a
mean,
strong possibility.
it's tough. It's tough. What do you do? You know, because you're playing Atlanta, and I think we'll actually get into that a little later. But of the good matchup and what we think the Saints' offense will be this year. And I mean, Michael Thomas is supposed to be the wide receiver one. So does this mean sit him, and does this mean start Chris Olave? You know what is this? What if you're not playing Michael Thomas? Who are you playing in that offense? You know.
Yeah,
So you got to ask
definitely.
yourself. I'm still taking Michael Thomas if he's on the field. Probably drafting him to be my flex, if not first bench spot from that. And I think it honestly depends on the matchup for me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And then another guy going into that tight end position. As we wasn't already cursed with the tight end drought after the top three guys. George Kittle has a groin injury and he's looking unlikely to play for week one. Definitely a situation you want to monitor going into Sunday. But as of right now, it's looking like he's unlikely to play week one.
Yeah, I mean Trey Lance and Debo Samuel. You know I think that's the matchup that you're gonna want. You know, so if you drafted Debo, I think Debo looking back on the draft was actually fell a little too much for me because I mean he was the wide receiver 3 last season, and yeah, it's Trey Lance, but I mean the games that he was in with Trey Lance, he still succeeded and did well, and I think they're going to use him as a runner. I think that he was dropping a lot. So if you have Debo Samuel, I think you're looking at a big game, especially seeing that they're going against the Bears defense. So
Yeah, and on that team as well, it looks like Elijah Mitchell was off the injury report. So it looks like he's going to be in line to start for the 49ers.
yeah, and then moving on to my team, which is sad and heartbreaking. Alan Lazard ankle did not practice on Thursday. So, I mean, his status is still up in the air for week one. I don't know if there's really an option that takes over. I don't think that if Lazard's out, you're starting Watson, Dobbs, or Dubs, I like to say, or Randall Cobb. So, hope for Alan Lazard to play. You probably didn't draft him to start him anyway, so it's not going to be too detrimental to your team. But yeah, just be on the safe side. If you have someone playing tonight, your question was him or out. Last night, and you had someone Lazard playing over him, like a flex debate between Lazard and him, I would play the other guy. So
I will say this isn't a situation where you're starting another Packers wide receiver, but this is a situation where I'm definitely looking to roster one. Romeo Dobbs, if he's still on your waiver wire and you have a bench spot, I would pick him up before the week starts. We could be looking at Romeo Dobbs as a top waiver wire ad next week. Could be ahead of the game.
absolutely. Hey, and
Him
that
or
trade value,
Christian Watson.
he goes out and has a crazy game, you can potentially have an option for trade.
Yeah, it looks like Christian Watson's going to play as well too. I'm from what I'm seeing. So throw your dart on one of these guys.
Absolutely. So that was the news for you guys today. I don't think there's anything else. I think other stuff is minor, like technically Christian McCaffrey's on the injury report, but I think it's just a cut. Like I don't think it's serious, so nothing to worry about. And yeah, so moving on from the news, we're going to go into our first segment, which is the QB tight end streams, because these are usually the two positions that, if you went late in your draft with one of these two, you're probably looking at matchups more than you are the player itself. So we're going to give you some good options to use this week that we think could have potential to get a lot of points for you off the waiver wire. Paul, you want to go first?
Yeah, so we were talking about him earlier, Michael Thomas. We're gonna go with his quarterback stream, Jameis Winston versus the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like this matchup has a very high chance to get hit the over. The over under is currently sitting at 43. Now, if I was a betting man, I would definitely take the over in this. I feel like Jameis and that Saints offense is going to put up a lot of points. It's more so on the other side of the ball. Will the Falcons put up the same amount to hit the over? But I feel like if you're in a desperate spot and you're looking at if you're looking at a Matthew Stafford this week and you're kind of questioning will the shoulder injury play a factor? Will this that? I feel like you can go Jameis Winston and start him with confidence as a low end QB1 this.
Yeah, I don't mind the matchup at all. Atlanta should not be good. And I think that Saint. The only issue I have that is I know you have the over. The Saints defense could be an issue if they just shut down the Falcons early, get out to a big lead, and then kind of just run the ball out the rest of the game. That would be my only worry. But if they can keep it competitive at all, I think James has a great day. So
Yeah, for sure.
So going into my quarterback stream of the week is Matt Ryan versus Houston. New quarterback, new system, but I think it's a great offensive line coming from a terrible offensive line that he had in Atlanta. He was a above average quarterback in the league his entire career, except for last season, where again he had a terrible offensive line. So I think giving him the option of Michael Pittman Jr., who I see as a breakout wide receiver, a bad defense in Houston, and the potential to score 2 to 3 touchdowns, I think he's a good streamable option this week for your team if you're looking for quarterback.
Yeah, like we said, if you're looking for deeper options, Matt Ryan is totally fine, and I feel like he has the potential to give you that QB1 upside. But if not, he's definitely a high end QB2 for sure.
All right, so those are two QB options, and if you're looking for it, you can go pick up James Winston or Matt Ryan to start this week. We're going to move on to the tight ends now. Paul, you want to give your first tight end?
Yeah, so with going on in the news with George Kittle and just all these in the tight end position just being so dry. If you're just looking for an upside play for like a touchdown this week, I really like David Njoku versus the Carolina Panthers. We have seen with Jacoby Brissett, he loves to target the tight end position. We've seen it when he was in Indy with Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox. So if you're looking just like for a dart throw at a tight end, with the Kittle news, I would go snag Njoku now and just wait and play the news out with Kittle. I feel like Njoku versus Carolina. I feel like this game has a sneaky chance to be a lot of points scored in it with the storyline going on with Baker and the Baker playing his old team. I feel like this game has a sneaky chance to hit the over. It's currently sitting at 42. So I really like David Njoku this week versus Carolina.
That's fair. I love that Brissett connection. Brissett did it in Miami. He's bringing it over, and I know he's not
Yeah.
great. And most people say Brissett, I'm going to avoid everything in the offense, but usually one of these guys show out, and they paid him a lot of money to be there. So I think that's a good streaming option week one. Going on to mine, which is Austin Hooper of the Tennessee Titans versus the New York Giants. I did this purely based off two reasons, which is the matchup of the Giants. I don't think their defense is going to be very good this year. And secondly, we went all season talking about the options and how there were really none for the Tennessee Titans to throw the ball. Yet Ryan Tannehill still the last couple of seasons has been a viable streamable option at quarterback. So he's throwing the ball in the end zone to somebody, and he just lost A.J. Brown. I think that Austin Hooper is a good tight end. I think he wasn't used enough in Cleveland. I think we can see some of what he did in Atlanta a couple years back show up in the Tennessee Titans. And against this easy matchup against the Giants, I don't think if looking for a tight end that this is a bad option to put in your lineup at all.
Yeah. I really like the matchup, like you said, and then yeah, like with the target share going to the receivers, like we don't know how this new offense is going to run. I mean, Tannehill is essentially getting two brand new receivers in Robert Woods and Traylon Burks. So I mean, we'll have to just see. I mean, we seen when he had Jonnu Smith a few years back. Jonnu Smith was like a top like 8 option at the tight end position. So I mean, this could be like a long term kind of play if Hooper can retain value longer in the season. We just got to go out there and see how the splits look.
Yeah, and I mean he actually targeted tight ends a couple, last season too. It was tough because there was 2 to 3 of them, that were in
Yeah,
and out. So there wasn't just one guy that you could put on your fantasy roster. So there
absolutely.
was never seen in Tennessee, but it doesn't mean that Ryan Tannehill doesn't throw to the tight end. He does target them especially near the red zone. So
Yeah, and I don't think Austin Hoops is just absolute monster, but Austin Hooper is like above average. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this could be a sneaky long term season play depending on how the splits look week one
yeah,
for sure.
100%, I agree. So there's some QB and tight ends you can pick up this week if you need them. Ideally you went in your draft and you kind of had these guys in mind already, but if you didn't, this is why we're here to remind you, don't be afraid to drop the guy you drafted and pick up one of these guys if the matchup's not there.
It's just brutal with the Kittle news, man. Like
Yeah,
tight end
especially
dart is
that.
so thin. It's so thin already, man. And
Hmm.
Kittle just already being out week one, just so brutal to your lineup.
Yeah, Kittle going down. If you have to start him this week, these are two good options. So moving on to our start and sit scenarios, these are guys that are your flex, or if you went like wide receiver heavy and need an RB2, kind of right around the same range that were drafted. And yeah, so I'm going to ask Paul one, and then Paul, I think you have one for me. Um,
Yeah.
First, I will go off with mine. Would you start Darnell Mooney or Elijah Mitchell?
Ooh, this is
Playing
a
each
tough
other,
one.
by the way. Playing each other, I mean.
Yeah, playing each other. This is a tough one because I see the game script favoring favoring the Bears in the sense that they're going to be trailing, so that Darnell Mooney potentially might get more garbage time. Um, I like Elijah Mitchell this year. I just had the injury concerns and just like what Kyle Shanahan does with the ball. If I had the opportunity in this scenario, I think I would go Darnell Mooney. I want to sit Elijah Mitchell one more week just to see how this plays out. Is Shanahan really going to commit to Elijah Mitchell going into the season? I hope so for people that drafted him, but we've seen this dude Shanahan just go completely off the deep end and start like a fourth or string running back. Cut Trey Sermon. This dude's a psychopath. To me, I'm gonna go Darnell Mooney because I feel like Darnell Mooney will be safer. I feel like he has a safer floor this week with the potential to get some garbage time work later in the game.
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, my thoughts on Darnell Mooney, but I also don't dislike Elijah Mitchell. And if you don't have this scenario exactly, and you need Elijah Mitchell in other leagues, yeah, wait till a week. But it is the Bears matchup. And like you said, with the game script, if the 49ers drop in the game, they'll probably run the ball more. So you might have a lot of garbage time for Elijah Mitchell as well. So it's a good toss up, but I definitely would go Mooney as well.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, my start sit scenario. This is actually two players that you have on your team. You're not debating on whether to start them, but like if you absolutely had to this week, would you go with Kareem Hunt or Chase Edmonds?
Going into this, I was talking to you before a little bit, and I think I was sold on Chase Edmonds, and I still would go Chase Edmonds if I had to start him in my flex because I think I have a philosophy on the flex position. I don't like guys that get me are safe 7 to 8 points. I think I go with the philosophy of I drafted the top four guys of my team to be good and give me secure points every week. I would rather take the risk. I would rather take the opportunity for someone to win the week for me at my flex or have a really good week than 7 or 8 points. So if it was my flex position, I would definitely go Chase Edmonds. I think there's more upside there to be just the flat out RB1 for that team and get a lot of pass catching opportunities. We all know Nick Chubb is the RB1 in Cleveland, so I Kareem Hunt is still an option because of his pass catching ability, but I think his upside is definitely capped. But then I rethought about it, and if I went wide receiver early and I had to do an RB2 option, I might go Kareem Hunt here week one, just because we know, we've seen Kareem Hunt on Cleveland. We know what he does. He's going to give you
Yeah.
probably 8 to 10, maybe a touchdown, and give you 15. And if I have really good receivers and I drafted my running back one quarterly, and I just need something from my RB2 position, the Chase Edmonds position is not guaranteed to me. Raheem Mostert's still there, Salvin Ahmed's still there. There's still guys in this backfield. I don't think there's a guaranteed RB1 position for him. So I think I might go Kareem Hunt as my RB2, and I would definitely go Edmonds at my flex.
Yeah. So they still have Miles Gaskin too. I just looked. I forgot about him on that team as well. But yeah, I feel if it personally for me, if this was my lineup, I think I would go Kareem Hunt just for week one. Um, because I feel like Kareem Hunt's role is like solidified in this Cleveland offense. With Chase Edmonds, we honestly don't know. We presume that he will get the majority of the touches. Like I'm pretty sure that's how everybody's projecting it. Um, but like if you need just a safe option, like if your team's like really strong at every other position, and you just need that RB2 or flex play, I feel like Kareem Hunt. I feel like Kareem Hunt in this scenario specifically.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. They're both right around the same range. I think like I said, I think the safe option is Hunt. So if you need safety, pick him. I think I think it is definitely more risky to start Chase Edmonds, but I mean if someone's going to go out and catch 10 passes and maybe catch 2 touchdowns, I think it's going to be Chase Edmonds. So
Yeah. Another thing we didn't mention too that Kareem Hunt is at Carolina. Chase Edmonds is home versus the Patriots. I feel like that Patriots matchup is a little bit tougher if you're going just purely off the matchup. I feel like Hunt does have the easier matchup running back wise.
yeah,
So that's another factor too. If you're flipping a coin between the two.
yeah, both actually don't have great matchups. I mean, I think New England's tough, but I mean, Carolina was one of the best run. Yeah, the thing about Hunt though is he's the one catching passes, so he's a little less effective based off run defenses such as the Buccaneers and Carolina were last year. So,
Yeah, I like that.
all right, so if you start Darnell Mooney, flip the coin on Hunter Edmonds, whatever you want to choose, and enjoy your fantasy Sunday. I know we will. We're looking forward to it. Like we said, it was a holiday for the draft, and it doesn't stop now with the first week. It's one of my best times of the year is the first NFL Sunday. So
Can I throw a late start sit question for your team this week?
yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's not really a question, but can you just play Trey Lance over Josh Allen this tonight?
I could not.
I kind of don't want to see him verse me tonight.
I thought about it for a second. I'm just kidding. I did not think about it for a second. I drafted Josh Allen in the fourth round. I better freaking start that dude. No
24
more.
and a half, dude. That's what he's projected. 24 and a half.
I do a ton of management of my roster. You know that I make decisions that aren't always ADP driven or worldwide thoughts of people. I make a lot of unique decisions and outlier decisions. I do that with
Yeah.
quarterback. We talked about that earlier. I told myself before the year I'm getting a good quarterback and I'm gonna keep him in my lineup the whole season. I'm just committing it to it because I know I struggled. That's what I've struggled in the past with quarterback starts. But I feel like I've always been really good with my finding waiver wire running backs and wide receivers and making good flex starts. So I said, let me
Yeah.
go ahead and do that with those positions and just leave my quarterback to no chance. You're starting Josh Allen every week.
Yeah. And then just for anybody that's following along, Nate did not make that trade yesterday for Darnell Mooney. So he is in fact starting 3 players tonight: Josh Allen, Dawson Knox, Allen Robinson. He's got the dink dink versus me. I just tonight's not going to be a good night for me. I just feel it.
I'm
I may
excited.
lose this matchup on
I
Thursday.
got the
I
over in the
really do.
game. Yeah, I got the over
Yeah.
in the game. I'm going full committal on tonight. I'm winning tonight or I'm losing tonight. There's not going to
Yeah.
be much difference, but it's fun, but the struggle. What would you rather have? Okay, here's is not a start sit, but a scenario question for you.
Yeah.
Would you rather have all your guys go Thursday night or Monday night?
Oh, dude, I hate Mondays.
I
Thursday
hate
for sure.
Mondays too. I
I
would
hate
say the same
Mondays.
thing. I like having the points or not knowing early. There's nothing worse than when like you're down like 50 points, but you're projected to win because you have three guys on Monday night, and you just know you're gonna lose every time. Like it's no
Yeah.
confidence every week, and you're just sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for your guys to play.
Or if you're up by like 20 and he's got Tyler Lockett and just Tyler Lockett has one of those games, like it's
There's
just
so
so
many
heartbreaking.
scenarios. Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking, man.
Did
Definitely Thursday.
didn't Tyreek Hill have like 49 points or something on a Monday one time, and like I think I remember
Jesus.
that. It was something crazy where it's like the guy was down. I think it was Josh. I think he was down like
Yeah, it was
30 or
Josh.
40, and Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
went out and had like literally like 49 points on a Monday night, and Josh won the week. I don't know that for sure, but I remember a scenario like that, and there's nothing worse, man. Nothing worse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be back hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday with another episode, hopefully recapping the week,
hmm yeah,
just going over everything.
we'll probably do some waiver wire episode Tuesday if we can. Ideally, get you the guys that are dropped from overreactions of week one and who we thought stood out that we weren't currently aware of, and we'll get it to you guys. So thanks for listening to the Fourth Along podcast where your championship advice came at no price, and enjoy your Sunday.
Enjoy, guys.